the original song, right? Sabre. I
Yeah.
cannot even, consistently listen to that because I end up losing my shit. Honestly, I'm a mess. I can't listen to it properly. It affects me too much. So yeah, and the cover is easier to go, but there's this line in it. It goes like, "Kisi se kaha jaye
No.
na."
Oh,
The
yeah, it was.
जो end वाली जगह है ना na. So that song Savre, right? The lyricist it goes like सांवरे तोरे बिन जिया जाए ना जलूं
Yeah.
तेरे प्यार में करूं इंतजार तेरा किसी से कहा जाए ना. Now those are very simple lines to say to someone. Okay, I can't tell anyone like because it's embarrassing, right? But the pain behind it that's delivered with the melody itself when Khan Sahab goes like किसी से कहा जाए that जाए ना. So that whole sequence of notes that were selected and the way he sung it just drives me nuts. I just lose it. I can't see straight when I listen to that song. I cry so much. So yeah, that song is an effect in itself, and it's beautiful. And I'm pretty sure that even if I get 100 years of singing from this day forth, I won't be able to do it properly the way it's supposed to be done in my head. But
Okay,
but
with all due respect,
it's
with all due
it's
respect, I mean, honestly, you have that standard, and you're reaching that standard, and that's one of the most amazing things to see. But if it makes you feel better, there's not going to be another Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan. There's not going to be another Khan
for
Sahib
sure,
ever.
for sure, for
So
sure.
you attempting it in such way, the bravery in the voice, that those things have their own potential, their own vibrations, their own
Agreed.
signature, and their own composition and their own inspiration. So for the newer generation, that might
Yeah,
resonate more than the original version, to be really honest. I mean, unki tane, jab wo tane, wo tano se, he didn't even start with a lav. He started with the tans, man. The tan, oh,
yeah,
it's like, you can't, nobody can reach that. That's,
agreed.
I
You
mean,
know, you, when I was young, I listened to Khan Sahib a lot. I listened to him so much. Like I would sing him. I would pick a song which I thought was the most difficult one, and I would slow it down to half its speed, and I would practice every single note, and try to match the texture and the girth of his. One thing that I've been blessed with. I don't know if I've been blessed with a good voice. That's very subjective, the
right.
quality of someone's voice. But what I'm sure of is that God gave me a beautiful brain, right? And that brain lets me see these intangible patterns and things, which then, once identified, I can reciprocate into my own work. Does that make sense?
Right,
So I
absolutely.
might not. So I'm saying that there's nothing on the face of this planet that's ever gonna be new because everything's been done before. But you don't have to. When people talk about inspiration, you don't have to stop at the chords or the notes or the words, right? There's a whole world beneath the song, and it's up for the taking, and there's nobody in the world can copyright that, right? And those are patterns which you can get inspired with. For example, um सांवरे की बात कर लेते हैं. I told you about this thing about how the melody carries the emotion rather
Right.
and enhances and adds to the words. That's a pattern I noticed, and I want to take that to my next song, right? So that's something that I'm essentially taking from Sabre Ture Bin Diya Jaye Na. And I'm taking that to my own composition potentially. Maybe I won't be able to reach 100% of that effort, but even if I get 10% of it, I think I've done my work.
You've
Do you
done a
get what I'm
very
saying?
good work, man. I'm a fan. I listened to it all day today on repeat. I'm gonna continue to do that, including my daughter. So, dude, that's just the way it is. You put it out there in your own magical voice, man. Your own inspiration, your own
Great.
inflection, your cadence, your emotion. You're talking about emotions. So there's a lot of pain in your voice, man. Sometimes. So, are you comfortable talking about some of that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Of course. Um, I, I'll skirt around, I'll tiptoe around some of the sensitive bits, but I'll tell you one thing. Uh, the way I think, right, is the way I perceive a song is so drastically different that when I sing it, it comes out different. I'll give you an example here. You, आपने वो गाना सुना होगा आओगे जब तुम हो साजना अंगना फूल खिलेंगे. Very standard, right?
Yes.
Everyone knows what it's about and stuff, right? But when I think about it, when I sing it, I I take it as sarcasm, right? I don't take that song at face value. So when the writer goes like आओगे जब तुम साजना अंगना फूल खिलेंगे, yes, आप जब आते हैं तो फूल खिलते हैं लेकिन अब आप नहीं आएंगे और वो फूल कभी नहीं खिलेंगे और वो सावन कभी नहीं बरसेगा. And I'm kidding myself and I'm just telling myself stories. So when I think that and when I sing those words, they come out different and they are pictured differently in my brain. So the cadence I carry with them, the pronunciation, the emphasis on certain syllables, it changes the way people feel about that piece. Does that make sense to you?
Yes. Do you think
So
you experiencing the extreme of love or extreme of anger or hate makes you closer to your artistic inspiration sometimes?
it does. I think through extreme uh, pressure and heat and um, beatings, um, you shape something beautiful out of a lump of metal. So I think you have to go through, a lot of experiences, sometimes very extreme, in order to become something better than they are, because that's the journey of a musician, to be honest, to become better than that musician is at a certain point in time. Because where music goes, you can never ever reach the true pinnacle of it, right? And you'll keep striving to break your ceilings. And the only way to do that is to be a better person, is to have a better thought process. Because at some point in time, you're going to hit the ceiling where every note you say is going to be on key, right? And every note you play is going to be in scale on the guitar, right? You will know all the scales, you will know all of the notes, you will never, ring out wrong or something. You can do all of that, but there's more to it even than that, right? And in order to reach that dimension where music transcends the notes and the words, you have to work on yourself, and you have to experience new things on a plane which is intangible. And that is when you touch the intangible side of music itself, the art form. Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And it's beautiful because you become an instrument in your own self, right? And then the
Exactly.
music flows through you, through those, and then you can that frequency. So that's another thing. So whenever your vibrations start to resonate in a note, right? And then that note and that vibration goes towards the crowd, you're actually putting everybody into the parasympathetic nervous system, because now you're the through the hypnosis of music and rhythm and melody, they're accessing they're healing themselves right at that second.
Agreed.
You guys are shamans when you're doing that on stage
Yeah.
consciously, and you're pushing that energy.